quorum yet, though, Christy? No? Okay. I didn't think we did. I got, let's see, who's joined us here recently? Oh, Steve, you said we are live? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I just sent Michelle a link, so she should be joining us here shortly.
Okay. I'm sorry, whoever that was, I could not hear them.
That was Anna. She just sent over another link to one of the commission members, and they should be joining shortly.
Okay, super. Okay, thank you, Anna.
Looks like we have 5 commission members on now.
Okay, and of 9 total, that represents a quorum, does it not? Oh.
I believe that's correct.
Okay, super. Okay, thank you, Christy. All right, well, good morning, everyone. This is a meeting of the City of Independence Tourism Commission. It is, Tuesday, March 23rd, and I want to wish everybody a happy day. And so I guess this is our call to order. Could I hear has everyone had an opportunity to review the previous meeting minutes? If so, I will take a motion to approve. If you need a moment to review them again, feel free. Otherwise, may I have a motion?
I motion to
Chris,
approve.
I motion.
Okay, did I hear Chris? Okay. Yes. Do I have a second?
Second, John Thornton.
Okay, John Thornton, thank you very much. The previous meeting minutes have been reviewed and approved. All right, without further ado, Eric, if your connections are working well, may we have a budget update, please?
Hi, good morning, everyone. We'll give it a shot this morning. So yes, happy to present a budget update for this morning. Let's start with revenues first. Our latest information through the finance department shows that our revenue is still trending at 40% down. We're budgeting for 30% down this fiscal year. So we're currently 10% behind that projection. However, I think we still have a chance to get to that 30% because last year's actuals that we are projecting against showed the fourth quarter of last fiscal year, which is, if you all recall, that's when the hotels essentially were shut down. So revenues in that last quarter of last fiscal year were very low. This year, we're seeing a little bit more travel starting to pick up and projecting that throughout the fourth quarter. The Royals are coming back. They're going to have fans in the stands again at a limited capacity, but even so, they're a huge generator of hotel nights for us. So I think we still have a chance to get at that 30%. We're not going to change that projection at this point. Going to wait a couple more months, and then we'll analyze it once again. Fingers crossed. I think from a revenue perspective, we will be at our projected target, which is 30% down, which is not great news, but at least it's not more than that. I'll remind you that going into this fiscal year, we were 57% down. So we have made some gains, and I think we'll continue to do so. That revenue at 40% down at this point, that represents $760,000. So that's not small. That's quite a bit of our budget for tourism. So hopefully we'll make some gains. There is some positive potential for the tourism transient guest tax loss to be refunded or recovered through the latest CARES Act. That latest relief bill includes for the first time municipalities and our ability to submit for some loss recovery, revenue loss recovery based on COVID-related circumstances. So we have sent that in. It is on the city's list. So our fingers are crossed. We'll keep you up to date, obviously, as we go through. That then leads us into our general budget update, and we're going to keep it high level because if we do in fact qualify and get those funds recovered, that's a game changer. So we'll be doing some budget modifications as a result of that. Essentially, if we received all of that would put our budget back at whole again. So we could start looking at some of the initiatives that are on hold presently, and perhaps looking to bring those back at some point in time here in the next fiscal year. So, but the budget proposal without that is submitted to the city manager's office. It's essentially the same as we presented at the last meeting, with the proposal calling to keep the National Frontier Trails Museum closed next fiscal year and move the historic sites maintenance and operations to another fund for just 1 year, and keeping tourism administration and sales and services fully funded. So that's the current proposal. Again, hopefully we'll get some of this CARES money and be able to refund some of our revenue losses through the transient guest tax, and we can modify some of those adjustments that we were forced to make going into next fiscal year.
Eric, what did you say the down number was? 750,000?
760,000 approximately. That's if we ended the fiscal year at 40% down, which is the present rate. We would be $760,000 short of what we projected, which is the typical 1.9 million generated for the transient guest tax annually. Does that make sense, John?
Yes, thank you.
And Eric, can I ask real quickly before you move on, because I'll forget it otherwise. Did we have to apply for a specific amount of money for the CARES Act? In other words, did we say we want to try to meet our projected shortfall of 760,000, or did we just say a flat? Did we give them a specific figure?
Yes, we give them a specific figure, and it all has to be based on actual quantifiable loss. So from transient guest tax, it is a straight up 3-year average over the last 3 years of collection to show the typical trend, and then we can show what we've generated, actually not just this fiscal year, but including the last quarter of last year is what we're submitting for. So it's a little more than that 750,000, at least the proposal and ask will be. So, but for any programming or any facility admission loss and things of that nature, it has to be a net loss. So it is it's the loss after the expenses. So it's net, right? So some of those, like in Parks and Recreation, some of those, like the water park, for example, we subsidize that particular facility. So there really wasn't a net loss to be able to submit for that kind of reimbursement. And it might be the same thing for the National Frontier Trails Museum when we start analyzing that a little bit closer. But for the transient guest tax, it's a pretty easy straight calculation for that particular loss. Okay,
all right. And we could receive all or part or hopefully not, but none of our requests. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are submitting our full loss potential. So every dollar that we can attribute to COVID that has been lost or not collected, we are submitting. We'll see.
Okay.
I have a quick
Right.
question.
Okay.
Is that under the part of that the shuttered venue grant?
No, this is part of the new Recovery Act that was just passed at the federal level. Just a few.
Because there's through SBA, there's a shuttered venue grant too that includes museums.
Yeah, it does. And I looked at that one earlier when it came out, and it pretty much excluded us because of our municipality connection.
Okay, I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, we did take a look at that one, and
So I looked at a little bit, but not too much in depth. So I was wondering if
we
it
were a
would
little
work for
shy of
anything.
qualifying. Yeah, a little shy of qualifying for that one, but this one is very specific. So I'm very hopeful that we're going to be able to recover quite a bit of our loss through this particular CARES Act. And Sam, we should know that here soon. So by the next time we all meet, I should have a better indication of where we stand on that and what our budget proposal amendments might be as a result. If I could go back just real quickly, the only increases to the budget proposal that we submitted to the city manager's office that we experienced had to do with the rise in personnel cost, mainly healthcare costs, some workers' comp increases, retiree healthcare increases, and we also saw an increase in technology cost for our portion of the citywide software costs, tech support, and things of that nature. So there were some personnel and some internal services increases, but we still presented a budget that was positive cash flow after operations. So we're still in the black, and the reserve fund is about 780,000 projected still as well. So we still have money in the bank, which is great. And we presented a budget that is positive, obviously.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the reserve fund, so I'm glad we covered that. All right, super. Anything else on that, Eric?
No, sir.
On
that covers the update.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to marketing status update with, is that Kim?
I believe so. Christy, do you want me to go first, or you have some things to say? I think you're on mute. Sorry, I jinxed you.
Sorry.
She's been having speaker trouble on her computer.
I know the feeling.
Okay, I'm on my laptop, so hopefully this is working. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, good. Great. So I've just got a couple things. Let's see, in January, the Missouri Tourism Commission had their meeting, and they announced that the $8.5 million withhold that the governor had put forward for the tourism budget was going to be restored. And of that $8.5 million, $3 million of that was going to go to the matching marketing grant program through the co-op that the state has. And that is the program that we are not eligible to participate in due to the designation. There's only one certified DMO per county. So I started sending text messages immediately. We'll just say that. I started calling and sending emails that, you know, it again would put us at a disadvantage to all the other DMOs across the state. And then on March 11th, I got notification from the Division of Tourism that they were going to launch a pilot program called a supporting DMO grant for the remainder of this 2021 fiscal year. And so we are going to get an additional $75,000 from the state of Missouri for marketing, which actually I think is going to be even better for us, even though, you know, we did get a large amount of money previously. So did everybody else, and it had to be used at the same time, and it was during the election. So I think right now it's the prime time for us to use it because it's from, you know, April 1st through the end of the fiscal year through June. So it's actually tourism season. And so that extra influx in that grant is 100%. There's no reimbursement required. It's 100% grant. So that, you know, basically, you know, gave us a, you know, doubled our what we were going to be able to spend on our marketing. So that is great news. With that being said, they have an advisory committee that meets in regard to the grant program. And I would like to ask if, for some discussion with y'all and hopefully get an endorsement to send a letter or an email to each of the members of that committee requesting that they make changes for the 2022 grants program to allow us to fully participate as equally as all the other DMOs, with the exception of just one other in the state that aren't eligible to participate in the program.
Okay. Do we need a motion for approval of that letter, Christy? Is that what
Yes, because I would like it to come from the Tourism Commission, because the commission represents so many aspects of independence tourism. I think it would be much more impactful to come from you all as a group, as opposed to just me complaining more.
Okay. Any questions or comments about this proposed letter from the commission? How would this letter take form, Christy? Should we approve it? You know, I
would write it up and then I would send it to you for approval, if that would be okay. Sure. It's just requesting that we be allowed to fully participate in the matching marketing grant program.
Okay. Well, it certainly sounds good to me. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve participation.
Is there a second?
Yes, I second John Thornton.
Okay, sounds good. All right, do I need a full vote at this point, or is that can we assume that this has been approved? Okay.
I would think that would be fine.
Okay, sounds good. And you said, when you said you, do you mean the collective you or me? You're sending it to me?
I would send it to you, Sam, as the chair of the committee.
Sure.
Just get your seal of approval on it and then go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. What's the deadline for this? What's the time?
I would like to get it out this week if possible. I'm not sure. They haven't let me know exactly when that committee is going to meet. So I would just like to get it out to them. I think that they're probably going to start moving forward in April. So I would like to get it out before April 1st.
Okay.
Would you send out to that? To the committee?
Yeah, Sam, I was going to, pardon the interruption, John, I'm sorry. I was going to suggest that perhaps procedurally, once you receive that, you might want to share that with the commission so that everybody is fully aware of the wording and the language, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep, will do. Sounds good.
I will get that. I'll start working on that today. Okay. And then the next item is the MACBB annual conference. That is the Missouri Association of Convention and Visitor Bureaus. They are holding their annual conference here in Independence. It was previously scheduled for June last year, then it was pushed to December, and now it's going to be happening April 28th through the 30th at Stony Creek Hotel and Conference Center. So we're grateful to have our tourism partners from across the state here, and we will make sure that they, can help us spread the word about how, everything that we have here to offer in Independence. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up about that. And then the last thing is the reopening of the sites with the rollout of the vaccines and our volunteers wanting to be fully vaccinated before they returned. They're eager to return, but they were hesitant to return until they were able to receive their vaccines. So we kind of worked everything out that most of our volunteers should be able to have their vaccine and ready to come back by May 1st, which will be nice because it'll be right before Truman's birthday. So that's usually when we kind of celebrate Truman's birthday. So it will come out nicely. And like I said, this right now, that's the plan. But as we know from this last year, things can change on a dime. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But we will be reopening with limited hours. It will be open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 10 to 4, and Sunday from 1 to 4.
So Christy, this is Jen. I just want to say, one, I'm so sorry we cannot host the group at the Truman Library right now. I'm crushed because I know it's such a great group and it's fantastic they're coming to Independence, and I really wish we could have them there. But I was thinking, would it be helpful if maybe we could give you some free tickets to include in any like welcome packs they have or anything? Because what we could do is we could offer like 2 free tickets to everybody who's attending the conference.
Okay, that's amazing.
Kind of making up for the fact that we can't open the doors to them.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. So if you just send me an email with how many you need, and I'll talk to Tim about arranging that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
I might offer that Ralph Goldsmith reached out to me about a tour that he has for 10 homeschooled or private school group coming to our site and a couple of other sites. Are you aware of that on April the 16th?
I believe so. Matea has got that list. So she's been working pretty closely with Ralph.
Okay, so that doesn't go against your opening date of what, May 1st?
No, we're still doing private tours, but just the opening to the public May the 1st. Following all the social, all the COVID guidelines, et cetera. We will be following those, but opening to the public May 1st.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sam, if I might, that's a pretty good clarification in that for our sites at any point when they are closed, we still will entertain opening those for specially scheduled groups that are coming in. That includes the National Frontier Trails Museum. So if we don't get the CARES reimbursement and we are unable to open the museum publicly, meaning having it staffed every day and just open for walk-in traffic, we still will be coordinating special tours for groups that are coming in, things of that nature. So they still have the opportunity to see our assets.
Gotcha.
Eric,
thanks for that clarification.
Did you say that the Trails Museum is not going to open until 2022?
That's what the current budget proposal is suggesting, yes.
Oh, okay. So the June 1st date that we talked about is out.
Yeah, unless it's a specially scheduled group coming in, yes. However, as I said before, everybody needs to keep their fingers crossed. If we get the CARES Act reimbursement, then we can advance that. Now, we don't have any staff there at this point, so setting expectations, even if we are fortunate enough to get reimbursed, it would take time to get the museum operational with any kind of staffing, obviously. So even if we get the reimbursement, we probably will be looking at more of a January scenario anyway of 2022, just because it's going to take time to gear that back up.
Mm-hmm. And Christy, the days and the hours you gave, were those for the historic sites opening?
Yes.
You said Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 4.
Friday, Saturday,
Sunday.
or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 4, Sunday, 1 to 4.
Gotcha. Great. Okay, thank you.
And then I'm going to pass this off to Kim. She has some great news for us and some really good information. So I'm going to share a screen here And let's see.
All right, good morning, everyone. I just want to review today kind of how we're kicking off spring advertising. We're really working hard to get above and below the 30% deficit. We'd really like to end the year obviously better off than that. So we're working really hard to get things going. So some of our 2021 marketing plans, we're running a general leisure campaign that's running right now, and I'm going to go in these a little bit more detail. We have a Truman historical campaign that is partially launched, and the rest should launch this week. We have a Fruit and Brews campaign that just launched last week, working on a genealogy campaign, a baseball campaign, and the volunteer local campaign. Here's some things that we've been doing January through March beyond getting those campaigns ready. We placed an ad in Show Me Missouri magazine. We did the Missouri Spring newspaper insert. We've done a slight refresh to the creative. We did an e-newsletter, e-blast to promote the new visitor guide coming out. Like I said, we launched a general leisure campaign. We've done multiple website updates. We did a Missouri State Wrestling sponsorship. We built some new group itineraries with Matea. We also kind of vamped our press kit to make it meeting planner friendly. We built a story hub on the website. We did a personal planning brainstorming meeting in Independence where I brought my team in from Tucson. And then last week they did a group tour video shoot with the leadership team that Matea was involved in. So our general leisure campaign, I said, has kicked off already. Right now, since it kicked off in January, we received 13,000 clicks. We've had 65,000 post engagements, which is really how we like to measure things, which means someone liked it, someone commented on it, or someone shared it. With those engagement rates, we can really see how people are interacting and how interested they are versus just following a click or a like. We've had 64,000 video views. And then we have some native advertising running as well and have over 4,000 clicks, 92% of them being new users, which is how we target our native ads. We want to get new users to the site as much as we can. And they're spending about over a minute average time on page, which is better than the overall time on page for everyday traffic. And then with Google, we've served up over 1 million impressions. With the Truman and historical themed campaign, we just have partially launched that. Now the rest will go live this week. We have over 1,000 Facebook clicks, 69,000 post engagements, which is awesome, and 70,000 views. So like I said again, this is a very niche campaign. So our targeting is different from the general campaign. And the more targeted you get, the better engagement you get, because you can see this is more engagements than the actual general leisure campaign. So we're really seeing good. I think one of these Facebook ads I have here had the first 2 days we launched it had 7 shares and several comments. So people are definitely showing interest in the library opening. Food and Brews, we're just doing a Facebook campaign here. We have 1,500 clicks, trying to get some traffic back into our restaurants. Now what's coming up? We're going to launch a baseball campaign. We have an influencer that will be coming into town that will go attend a Royals game and document it on all their social media and then write a story for us. I believe they're going to attend the White Sox game. Then we're going to create baseball cards. We want to really try to promote the small town vibe and nostalgia of Independence. So with these cards, as you can see, we have a Harry S. Truman here. So that'll be the front of the card, and the back will have fun facts about Harry S. Truman. And we've created about 40 of these for different attractions, different people across Independence. I put a little bit of the copy in here, what we would use in the ad. Your front row seat for all the action outside Kaufman, root for the Royals, stay in Independence, America's pastime, Independence anytime. And then we have already scheduled with the Royals Independence Day at the K on July 4th. I hope everyone can attend. This is the first time, I believe in several years that Independence Day at the K is actually falling on July 4th. So it's going to be a great event out there at Kaufman. We're also working on a genealogy campaign in cooperation with the Midwest Genealogy Center. We've seen a lot, obviously, everyone probably has seen a lot of popularity in ancestry research. I personally know a lot of people that have been doing it during COVID from their computer, and then MGC had a lot of stuff online during COVID. They were really COVID friendly, allowing people to get online and research their history for free. We had Lindsay, who is our content strategist on the Independence account. I brought her to Independence and we went to the Genealogy Center, and she's actually doing a real life story on researching her own family. The story is in proofing stage right now, but it's really good. It's interesting how what she actually was able to find out about her family that she didn't know, and some of her heritage that she was unaware of. She's also trying to tie in a lot of diversity through her story so that we can let people know that anybody from any background can do their research there. That tree there also is going to be part of our landing page, and it's an interactive tree where you can, when you click on it, little bubbles will pop up and tell you little facts about the Genealogy Center. We've created telegrams from Truman to gear up to the library opening. These are going to be from the perspective of the former president, include fun facts about his history and independence. And as you can see, this was the one, we did not get this launched by Valentine's Day, but we are working on getting the May one soon, but we're going to bump that up to April. But just this is just an example. Happy Valentine's Day from the man from Independence, Harry S. Truman, who knew his wife Bess was his one and only. And then if you can read that, I kind of can't read that. I'll read it to you though. The telegram says, I want to remind you that 3 things can ruin a man: power, money, and women. I never wanted power. I never had any money. And the only woman in my life is up at the house right now. Sincerely yours, HST. So each one of these topics, we've revised this calendar a little bit, but will be a different telegram for Truman. We'll post them organically on the social media pages for Independence. This will not be a paid media campaign. And then the local volunteer program. Oh, I have changed this since I did this presentation originally.
This was the right one. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. So this is to help recruit volunteers to work in the sites this year. We're going to run a local campaign trying to recruit volunteers. We've since changed it to be like Charlie, because since Charlie actually is a true volunteer. That's okay, Christy. And so instead of be like Gary, it's going to be like Charlie. We want to do a video interview with Charlie, talking to him about what he loves and enjoys most about his volunteer work. We want images of him in the visitor center, images of him at the attractions or in video. And then we thought we'd create a flat Charlie to hand out, which is a good social media opportunity. And then also we kind of thought it would be cool to work with the local schools somehow, elementary schools, to create some flat Charlies for us. We have those available in the welcome centers, and possibly even run a contest. You know, the first 3 people to sign up to volunteer, we're going to make them a flat Kim or a flat whatever their name is. And then we're going to create a fun and interactive landing page where they can actually go in and sign up. So be like Charlie. Christy kind of already went through this a little bit about how we got the $75,000 Missouri matching grant. These are our plans for that money. Travel Awaits is a website membership type organization that also has like a large e-newsletter database. Most 70% of their subscribers are over the age of 40. So we came across them kind of organically. Chrissy had gotten, I don't know, an alert or something that there was a really nice article about Independence in the Travel Awaits website, and I encourage all of you to go visit it, travelawaits.com. And we were like, okay, what is this? How did we even get on it? You know, and it was just an organic story that they wrote and posted. We did not pay for it. But once we set up a meeting with them and start talking to them, they have a really good product. And we're really excited to see kind of the results we can get from this. especially with the targeting. So we're going to do 4 pieces of sponsored content. Each article is guaranteed 50,000 sessions. We're going to do the homepage takeover for 1 week, and then a weekly newsletter promotion for 2 weeks, social media campaign, and an Independence Missouri banner on all Missouri content during the length of a campaign. This is an 8-week campaign. I didn't put on there. And then the other thing we're going to try is the Disney Hulu. This will reach maybe a little bit of a different market. It's a video. It's very much like connected TV, but it's through the Disney Hulu network. We're guaranteed over 952 impressions, and it's all video. We're going to target all travel enthusiasts, and then we're going to be able to geo-target. Some of these connected TV buys are super expensive, and they force you into doing national targeting. But we found with Disney Hulu that we can do geo-targeting at a reasonable price. So we're going to give that a shot. And then we're working on a Paranormal Path Phase 2. So we're going to just continue to build on the current Paranormal Path campaign and hopefully launch it about a month earlier this year, 1st of September. So these are just kind of our ideas from our creative team. Show the unseen spirits reaching out to visitors. They're going to actually have actors and models in this one, have people in them, as there were no people in the Phase 1. We're going to pull the curtain back on why. Why did you feel the weird chill in the basement? Why did you think you saw something move on the stairs? What we're really trying to do is, when you picture this in your mind, it will be a visitor walking through and they don't see the spirit, but they feel it. But the viewer of the video will be able to see the spirit and understand why they felt that weird chill and why they felt like they saw something move on the stairs. We're going to do 30 to 60 seconds videos, highlighting the variety of each spirit. Visitors will feel or sense the spirits but never actually see them, but the viewer will. So we'll be there most likely in June or July to do our second phase of filming for that. And here's the good news. And why we are really encouraged on building on this campaign is it's award-winning work. We won a gold award with the HSMAI Adrian Award. This is a very reputable organization within the tourism industry. I personally, in my career, have never won a gold Adrian Award on any account that I worked on. So we're all so excited. The Tucson, we just found out yesterday that they also won an Addy Award for the Tucson American Advertising, and that it scored so high, it's going to automatically be elevated to the next level of competition within the American Advertising Association. I did put here a link. I know, Christy, if you share this out, you all can click on that. You can kind of see what we do to submit these awards. I'm happy to click on that, or Christy, if you want to open it, or you can do it on your own time, but it's what we put together to actually submit the award.
I don't think it's going to let me.
Okay.
But I will say that the award that Kim is talking about, it's an international award. It's the Hospitality Sales Marketing Association International. And so it is an international award, and I've heard that it is like the equivalent of a Academy Award or an Oscar, Emmy, whatever, in the hospitality marketing world. So it is a really, really, really big deal. And we are super proud of the work that we did and the team that we have. And I will also say that in one of the categories, the category that we won, there were 3 winners, gold, silver, and bronze, and Madden had all of those campaigns. So, and they actually won 5 awards in this cycle, which is pretty amazing. So congratulations to our marketing team.
Thanks, Christy. I would also add that in normal non-COVID world, we would be traveling to New York City to accept the award in person, but we're not. But I will be down there. The award ceremony is actually at 5 o'clock today. If anyone is interested, I'm happy to share the link out where you can register. It's free, but I am going to come down to Independence this afternoon, and we're going to watch it together.
Congratulations on that, Kim. That's wonderful work. Was that award specifically for your work in Independence, or
Yes.
the paranormal program campaign in Independence and other cities, or specifically Independence?
Just Independence. It was just the Independence Paranormal Path campaign. And when you have an opportunity to click on the link in this presentation, you'll see our submission form and what we write about it and how we put things together to submit for the award. And then you can, you'll see that it's just Independence. And like I said, I've been with Madden for 17 years. I've never won a gold award before, or any campaign I've ever worked on. So I'm really, really excited too.
Congratulations again. Very big deal.
Yeah.
It was mentioned more than once at the statewide tourism virtual meeting a couple of weeks ago. How many people were able to attend that? Did many people on the call here get to attend that? Yeah.
Yeah, I was on there. I think Christy was on there.
Yeah, I thought they did. Madden was mentioned more than once, and maybe now's the kind of an appropriate time to mention a few of those highlights. Is that okay, Christy, or should I wait?
That'd be great.
Okay, real quickly, kind of a quick overview, kind of following up on what Eric said earlier, but in terms of the statewide impact of COVID-19, I mean, it's Independence is not an isolated phenomenon, as you all are aware. These numbers, I think, are accurate. I took them as notes. I was hoping to get the slides later, but I haven't gotten them yet. But the notes I took indicate the state lost $6.6 billion in 2020 compared to 2019. Okay, so $6.6 billion less in revenue raised in 2020. There was a 41% decline in occupancy in the hotels statewide. The lodging industry lost over $1 billion in the state of Missouri in 2020. 130,000 job loss. 130,000 job losses in 2020. Although we've been able to recover about 40. Well, there's about 60,000 jobs still to recover. So there's been a good bounce back, but there's still 60,000 of those 130,000 job losses we're still trying to recover. Visitor volume fell 35% and around the state. There was a 45% loss in tax revenue, so worse, than we experienced in Independence. And then there was a takeaway about a profile study. There was a recommendation that we do that to learn who our visitors are. I'm just curious because I don't know the answer. Have we done a profile study ourselves, Kim or Kristen?
Yeah, we have. We did do one last year, and then we had it already scheduled, so we went ahead with it. It was right after Madden took over the account. We just wanted to see for ourselves, what information we could get. And then we scheduled, since it was COVID, then we scheduled kind of a follow-up visitor profile study where Christy and I wrote a grant to MDT for $5,000 because it's a $10,000 project. So we'll be doing that follow-up study here probably within the next 30 days.
Oops. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Thanks for your report. I appreciate it. Yeah. You too, Christy, of course. Okay, Wendy, do you have an historic preservation update for us, please?
Sure. The maintenance is still ongoing at the site, regardless of their status being closed currently. And just a few projects that we're working on right now. The Vale is very enthusiastic about searching for funds for ongoing rehabilitation and restoration projects. And so I've been working closely with them. They are paying for a restoration of the north entrance door, which is the main door that the staff and volunteers use. And this has been a project in the works for several years, so we're pretty excited that that's moving forward. And that's a project that Pishney Restoration is going to be doing. And then we took out 2 trees at the Bingham. These were directly on the east elevation of the main house. There's been a lot of mildew growth on those, on that elevation and due to those trees. And so consequently, we are sad to see them go, but happy that we can continue the maintenance of that. And there will be no further deterioration of the trim work on that main house. And then we are still moving forward with the Truman Depot. The project's been postponed just a little bit longer due to ongoing negotiations with Union Pacific, but the project is still on track to move forward And I believe, Eric, that the opening is still planned for later this year.
Yes, Wendy, that is correct. Stay tuned.
Other than that, with the other sites, we're just kind of keeping an eye on them, making sure that any ongoing maintenance that needs to be addressed is being taken care of. And that's all I have for my report, unless there are any questions.
Eric, you mentioned earlier that historic site maintenance would be moved to a different department. Did I hear that correctly?
Well, a different fund within the Parks and Recreation Department. So from a historic site perspective, from overall operations, the operators of the historic sites, the public, they won't see any change. It's just where the funding is coming from. So for 1 year, it is being applied, the costs are being applied to the Parks and Recreation sales tax program. But that is a very short-term temporary solution. And then hopefully with the caveat that hopefully when the transient guest tax returns to pre-COVID levels, that money would be refunded back to the Parks and Recreation sales tax program.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Any questions for Wendy? Okay, Wendy, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, let's see. We're moving on to reports in your packet on social media activity and sales and services. You can refer to your own packets, unless, Christy, we want to talk about any highlights in particular, points of interest.
Pull some of that up real quick. We've had a lot of activity as far as virtual trade shows. Most of the big trade shows have been virtual this year, but we have attended, I think Gary, Matei, and I have all attended segments of these trade shows this year. We've attended 5 already. Matei is not on the call right now because she's out actually doing it's called a FAM tour for a big group that's coming in September. So we are scheduling more groups. We're doing some more FAMs from people. Familiarization tours is what they're called. Doing more of those in the next few months, just from trade shows we attended last year and trade shows that we've already done this year. So Matei is getting busy doing all of that. Let's see, and then let's see, I'm trying to pull up what she's wrote. She does have the information about the occupancy in the year to date, what the decreases are. The good news is as of right now, from year to date this year to last year, our occupancy is down 18.1%. So that's better than it had been in a while. And the average daily rate is only down like 6%. So that's not terrible. And the numbers from AirDNA for our Airbnbs, they are actually up, which is not surprising because a lot of people, when they are traveling, are staying at Airbnbs. But we are very lucky that Zach Walker, our city manager, went ahead and got a deal with Airbnb, and we do get lodging tax from them. So that is a plus. A lot of DMOs don't, but we do. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's definitely something. One other fun thing that happened since we last met is the Missouri State Wrestling Tournament. They contacted the arena and Matea, and they moved the state wrestling tournament from Columbia to Independence. So that was here March 8th to the 13th. And from what I have heard from people who know more than I do, said that they had a great experience and they can be interested in returning. So that would be great for us. So there's just a lot of things as far as, sales and services and in upcoming groups. And then Zach's on the call, but he's been working on the updates of the website and the story hub and blog posts for the content, that follow our content calendar. He's done a lot of work for content as far as Facebook and Instagram, and we did a little foray into TikTok, but we're putting the a little bit of hold on that for clarification as far as posting, but we did get really good feedback on that. And then working on Pinterest. So we are working on all of the social media platforms that are out there, just, because it's all things that we can do that, don't cost a lot of money. So those are, I would say, the highlights of the reports in the packet.
I could definitely speak to the TikTok and say that it got excellent feedback and was seen by, I mean, more than 1,000 people. I mean, it got really good traffic. So somehow Under the Awning got to be one of the first, and I still get messages from people saying that's so neat. So just a little food to share. I thought it was a special thing that it was Under the Awning. So, and then I heard the brakes got pumped because we were eager to see what was next. The little video clips, especially during COVID, seem to be where people are gravitating to, and or they get seen quite a bit. So it was special. So just thought I'd share that.
Thank you. Zach and Matea did a really good job on those videos. They were really fun. Like, they got really good engagement, and we found out more and more DMOs, destination marketing organizations, are using those, and we're hoping to be on the forefront and the cutting edge of that, as opposed to falling behind. So I appreciate that feedback, and we hope to be able to move forward with that very soon.
Has Cable Dama Arena been able to kind of recover many of their canceled events for 2021 yet, or are they? Do we know where they stand? 2020 is kind of obviously a bad year, but maybe compared to 2019, maybe what percentage of events they've been able to schedule? Do we have a sense of that?
Sam, I can speak to that. I don't have a specific percentage, but I can give you information on their state of operations as it stands now. So they are finally getting back to some events there, and they have been since December. Primarily hockey, indoor soccer. We've had a couple of small one-offs, some MMA fights and things of that nature. So they are slowly getting back. Limited capacity still. The wrestling tournament was a great success, not just in being able to pull it off in that venue, and the general positive impact or feedback that we got back from participants, as well as Misha itself, but it also put people back in the hotels, and there were buses at restaurants and at entertainment venues. So it was back to doing what it was intended to do. So that's good news. This summers are usually a little dark at the arena anyway. That will more than likely be the case again this upcoming summer. There will be some events, but not a great deal. Concerts and things of that nature, promoters are taking those outdoors first. There are some concerts around that are starting to be scheduled in later July, mostly in September. So those are coming back. And once the fall gets here, we do have a lot of holds at the arena for some acts coming back, some family shows and things of that nature. So a lot of those bookings that we had to cancel last year were just canceled. It's not as though we're holding tickets out there for an upcoming show. They were just canceled at this point. So which is common around the country. I mean, that's all the venues were doing that. So we're hopeful that come the fall that we are back up to normal operations there. And we'll go from there. At least we've got promoters calling us for holds, and that is a very positive sign.
Yep, it certainly is. It certainly is. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Yeah, I heard on the radio just last night an ad for the Comets playoff postseason, you know, and I thought that was really nice. You know, they talked about there's going to be some social distancing, but they, you know, talking about playing against it's a local team they're playing against playoffs. So I forget now which team they're playing against, but I thought, yeah, that's cool. Talking about common soccer, which is a great experience, I think. Enjoy it. All right. Well, thanks again, Eric. Sorry to put you on the spot there about that, but I appreciate the report on that. If there isn't any other business, I do want to bring up something, and that's about scheduling these meetings and maybe moving them to a quarterly basis, as opposed to, you know, every other month. And I believe we canceled a meeting in January, but and this is now late March. But what would everybody think about moving to a quarterly basis, or would it be better to do every other month? Any thoughts on that? And if I've misspoken in any way, Christy, please correct me.
That is correct.
Okay. I mean, do you all feel like there's enough business to, you know, to warrant every other month, or would you all? I know everybody's busy, but
I agree, and I would think that if there was anything of importance, a meeting could be called.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, are you aware of any directive from the
Thank
city
you, Michelle.
council?
I'm not aware of any that would require us to you know, to continue the current forum or anything that's compelling us, you know, toward quarterly. That's a good question, John.
I thought there was some directive that we have meetings every other month.
Yeah, Sam, sorry to correct, but may I speak to that?
Please do.
Yeah, I believe the current ordinance that established the Tourism Commission, well, even prior to the Tourism Commission, has language in the ordinance that speaks to meeting every other month. So, so this would need to go back to council. It is consistent with what the Parks Commission does, and the comment earlier was exactly correct. We can always call special meetings, which we do from time to time in the parks, for the Parks Commission, especially around budget time, et cetera. So those processes would be very consistent, but it will take a change of the ordinance, which is not the first time that we've brought a change in ordinance for the Tourism Commission to the City Council for approval. So happy to carry that forward if that is the desire of the group.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Pardon my mistake there. Any thoughts against changing us to a quarterly basis?
No, I agree with Michelle. It makes sense, and if we need to have a meeting for some reason, we can always call one, can't we?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I agree. I think that makes good sense. Could I hear a motion to move us to having Tourism Commission meetings on a quarterly basis? I see Michelle's hand, so.
Quarterly.
Chris will second.
Okay, very good. Do I hear let's hear a voice vote, I suppose. All who agree say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, it is so moved. So what's the next step? Eric, will this be brought forward at the next city council meeting then, or what's the next? What's the process?
Perhaps not the next. We will get it on. Gosh, what is this? The end of it. It would probably be second meeting in April at best at this point. So okay. There's some pretty good lead times on getting things onto the agenda that we need to adhere to. So we'll shoot for the second council meeting in April. We will draft the language, and Sam will get that to you just for communication purposes to make sure we're all on the same page here. And then we will submit that change through our Munis agenda and we'll get it on the council.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Do you need, me or someone else to actually present that, or is that just a kind of a written request?
I think not, but thank you for the offer. But I think we can take that from here since we staff the commission, and in the language, in the whereases, we will state that that the concept was endorsed by the Tourism Commission.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Any other business?
I do have one. I don't really know if it's a question, suggestion, or how it's posed, but from the nonprofit side of things, in the past year, we're inundated all of the time with people inquiring about volunteerism, students needing community service hours, and really just to plant that seed about the student aspect of it, because when a lot of high school students, or when they enter high school, they are throughout their high school experience required to do 100 hours of community service. And there was a comment about reaching out to the schools about the Flat Charlie. And maybe it would be a way, because there are actually staffed positions of those people that oversee, where Blair's Foster Sox is put on lists for people to reach out to us. And I just think what a unique opportunity you've got the older students, but maybe they could work with the younger students to be able to do something such as the Flat Charlie, but also to learn about the tourism side of things, to be able to volunteer and see how some of the other things are run. And, as ticket takers, things like that, I would say that I had a young gal for the past several months, and she's just turning 18, and I would recommend her for anything. And so I just think if there's one, there's got to be 30 more of them out there. So just so we're not, and I just think some of the younger people and some of the younger perception brings new, but also with them brings their parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, and people we went to visit and patronize our community. So I just wanted to contribute that aspect.
I love that idea.
Well, thank you for that, Michelle. Yeah, it is. It is. And what shape and form would those volunteer opportunities take?
I've just heard in several different meetings that I've been in that the historic sites have needed volunteers and events need volunteers. But I think a lot of times we're reaching out to retired or business people, that there is that whole driving force. And it's not just high school, there are college age students that need, and the young gal and really she's the one that kind of sparked that interest to me, because I really got to talking to her with why. She's a psychology student. So, I mean, she has no, other than maybe I should put her on staff personally, haha, just kidding. They come from all different, but their perspectives are neat. And I just think sometimes reaching in different pools will help the growth of, the end goal of what we're trying to do is create a community and welcome people. And
I think if I don't mind jumping in, I think that's a fantastic idea for so many reasons. Not just to be able to increase the volunteer pool that we have, but also, to be an advocate for kids learning how to volunteer. I think that we've kind of lost that. I mean, I have two, teenagers and 20-year-olds. So I think they've lost the feeling of volunteering, or I don't know how to explain that, but I think if tourism can lead that charge and reinstate that in some of these kids and be getting in there, number one. Number two, showcasing tourism jobs in Independence. A lot of kids probably don't think about, having your job or Christy's job, or, I think that's a fantastic idea. And if you would be willing to help
Sam's job.
Or Sam's job, right. But if you'd be willing to help us, maybe a little mini committee or something that we could put a plan together to actually get this implemented, would be great.
Yeah, I don't know if our local historic sites have used high school volunteers in the past.
No, not that I'm aware of.
And, I don't know if they would reach out directly to each one, or whether they should contact our, visitor department, at the city, which is not currently staffed, right? Christy, we don't have a volunteer coordinator at the city currently.
That's correct.
Since Frank left.
We have a team.
So that
Sam,
part might
this
be a
is
little,
Wendy.
we have to work that out. Yeah.
Sorry,
hello.
Sam,
Yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
Wendy. We have used high school students in the past, but it's been many years since we have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, I agree. I think it's certainly worth exploring. I'm just not sure what the next step would be procedurally.
I have an idea.
And like I said, I think it's food for thought. I mean, everybody is intrigued by it, but I'm just for the period of time I've been around, and I'm not kidding you, I'm inundated with trying to find spots and things for volunteers. And I've heard several times in the City of Independence where people will say, we need volunteers. And, I think if we mentor, uplift them and empower them, the return is going to be amazing.
Yes, and then I also
I know we're always looking.
Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go. Well, Kim, I was going to say just real quickly, I know for Santa Calagon, for example, I know we've always struggled to kind of get volunteers, and that seems like it'd be a great opportunity for high school kids to help out. I know my own daughter has helped me in the past with that. So, yeah. Go ahead, Kim, I'm sorry.
Matei had the leadership group last week, and Ryan on my team was there and was just chatting about tourism and marketing. And after that meeting, Dana Downs-Kurtz, she's the, I believe the superintendent, no, she works for the Independent School District. We're playing phone tag right now, so that might be a place to start. I could just bring something up to her. She's looking for marketing work, but could be something that I bring up to her to get the ball rolling, and she might have ideas.
And definitely the Independence, I know St. Michael, if it's just a phone call to the front office, the same thing. I think that I'm forgetting what you call it, but I mean, just a phone call to say we'd like to be put on a list or be considered, but also being able to have the structure of welcoming them for the needs. I'm not there to say, I can specifically think off the top of my head where it would be neat to have some volunteers to be concierge, to be friendly faces, but really it needs to come from a different place than me just planting people all over the city.
Right. Well, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that very helpful, constructive suggestion. Really do.
Thank you.
And Kim, real quickly on a different subject, during your report, which was great, I did have one little comment that I hope you take in the right spirit, and that is that Flat Charlie looks sad. He looks like he's got a frown.
Yeah, that's actually a real Flat Gary that I found on Facebook, and so I don't know him. I just stole him for this presentation. Okay. So we'll make sure he looks happy. And I think I did replace it. Christy and I got our presentations mixed up, but I think the new one's happier. But we'll create our own.
That's fine. No, I meant that half in jest, but I did notice that. Oh, that doesn't look particularly happy. He doesn't look happy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Unless is there anything else anyone would like to bring up? Otherwise, I guess our next meeting would be can we assume the quarterly? Well, we got to wait till that gets approved, but tentatively we're shooting for June then. That'd be our next quarterly meeting per approval by the city council for its change in the ordinance.
That would be correct.
Okay, great. Kind of give folks it says there May 25th is our next meeting. So, but it probably would be June, correct? All right. Yes. Very more detail to come. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
Okay, reluctant to leave, I see we are. Okay, very good. Well, thank you all very much. What's that?
I said I've got the staff of the little people today, so she's ready to go outside until it rains.
Okay, sure, okay.
You guys
I
have a
won't
great
hold
week.
you up any longer. All right, have a great week,